Just wanted to kind of reach out, say that we're really glad that
I was going to say the 4 thing is cute, but maybe all the Lindens should be on the same region.
Testing, testing. Okay, looks like it's coming back. I have no idea where we left off, but I'm just going to start over just so that way make sure everybody didn't miss anything. So Halloween is coming soon, including the Halloween Shop and Hop that starts on Friday, October 3rd through Sunday, November 2nd, with more spooky fun that'll be announced really soon on our blog at community.secondlife.com. So keep your eyes peeled, just like a grape. And I wanted to personally let you guys all know that we are going to be having probably, at least in my memory, more gifts coming out this year than in any previous year. So really, really, really looking forward to this year. I hope you all greatly, greatly, greatly enjoy it. Yes, there will definitely be more than one Boopy, Sarah. I won't say how many, but more than one. Somewhere between 2 and 15 majillion, yes.
$1.333. No.
I almost asked, can anybody not hear my voice? Of course, that would go over really well. Then again, it is Second Life. Many of you would probably go, me! I'm going to jump around a little bit while other people get situated and jump right over to our talk about Linden Homes. So the Ridgewood Enclave theme has launched. I hope you guys are greatly enjoying it. It's proving to be quite popular. It blends a modern contemporary design with lush landscaping. It's a premium plus style set among palm trees and winding sidewalks. The community kind of balances clean architectural lines with soft greenery, creating a warm and breezy retreat. It has a new feature that allows you to personalize some of the exterior planters with a selection of options from a water garden to hedges and so on. This theme is also planned to be the first Linden home offering to include commercial parceling. However, that's going to be offered a bit in the future. Right now, I'm targeting next quarter for that, because we had some specific scripts that are needing to be written specifically for this. But we are hoping to have that come out really soon. Just so you guys know, it's going to be an add-on, so it won't take away from what you already have. So just keep an eye out for that. We'll give you the rules and everything like that once we make it available. But it'll basically be a region of shops and stuff that people that don't want to build shops because they're clothing designers, not building designers or whatever, can use as an initial place to sell their wares. And it'll have a place, with other shops near it. So therefore, it might, you go there and you want this or that, you can see next door is this other shop, and kind of help everybody in that community. So that's just something that we're hoping is taken really well. And there's more and more to come for both Premium and Premium Plus residents, as well as potential updates for themes coming in the future. One thing just to kind of make you guys aware, we are still releasing the Ridgewood Enclave homes slowly. There were a couple of issues that were found early on, so that's the reason why you haven't seen any additional of those homes released in the past few days, because I'm making sure that that's fixed, and then moving forward, we'll go with everything corrected. And hand it over
Do you want to grab
Alpha.
Holoclex question as well?
Oh, did I miss it?
Yeah, it popped up just a bit ago.
Okay. We are definitely looking at, adding more and more of that, including community regions. You will notice that there are more homesteads interspersed within the regions in Ridgewood Enclave for the addition of community regions and such. The problem was with the faster pace that we've been putting out new Linden home themes, we've had to kind of monitor and budget our time and such, but that is something that we've noticed the interest in, so there will be more of that coming. And I can't talk about the new theme yet, but I am so excited about the theme that's in process.
Izzy, with the commercial aspects of it, would there be any chance that you'd revisit older builds to give them some sort of sense of that? Because I'd love to see a cottage industry kind of open market sort of look in one of the older sort of build styles, where people could actually gather on a Saturday morning having their lattes and buying little bits and pieces from people's stalls rather than them being actual shops.
I hadn't personally thought about that, but I don't have an objection to, that as a request and something for us to kind of look into, definitely. Do me a favor, submit that as a request, because that is something that I could easily see us going and saying, this is just off the top of my head, don't quote me on this or anything like that, but wow, people really like the chalets or this or that, and we can, thanks Wendy, maybe we can make a homestead region of kind of an open market kind of a thing for small, maybe 512 shops. And, if not that many people like it, hey, it was a one-off. There's one region that has, 5 or 6 people that are, utilizing it and nobody else is, fine. But if it goes, really well, then we open up more of them and intersperse them within, the appropriate themes and stuff like that. So I have no problem at all taking your guys' feedback and seeing how we can incorporate it. Obviously, there are certain requests that get requested that we can't always put in, but I don't mind working with you guys at all. I completely understand, Holoclex, and I was trying to hit both at once. I want more community regions, and I also want more community-esque areas within the region itself. So both definitely are things I'm looking into.
Like the idea of like occasional bench seating and things like that. The first Linden homes had those little areas with some benches and sort of gathering spots that was really inviting and really what drew everybody to them at first. So the idea of going for a walk or a bike ride or a horse ride and running into a neighbour and sitting down and having a chat is just the whole, Gilmore Girls of it all.
Sassy, you are going to love the upcoming theme. But that's all I can say about that. But I will say we did kind of shift, not away from that. I don't really want to say that, but we shifted to kind of a more commercial aspect of that, in that there are bus stops and stuff like that. And I think while that fit with the themes that we were coming out with, it maybe kind of left something to be desired that is actually wanted, and something I will definitely try to reincorporate into not only future themes, but possibly broadening of existing themes. Okay, let me turn it over to Alpha.
Yeah, I was going to say, any other questions on Linden Homes right now before we pass it over to Alpha for a support update?
A quick one regarding the commercial ones. Do we have any numbers on parcel size and prim count and the likes yet, or is it too early to say yet?
It's too early to lock down, but the general consensus is that there'll be 1024 parcels with the standard prim allotment.
Right on. Thanks.
And just so you know, the reason for that isn't to limit people's ability and everything. It's just supposed to be an entryway to help somebody set up a shop, when they're just getting started, or it's their ancillary shop because this area is really busy and they want to go ahead and have a presence in there. But I don't want to take over the market on where people should be shopping, because that's up for you guys to decide, not me. In my personal opinion. So if you want bigger shops and, areas in the mainland or on private islands and whatnot, I have no objection to that. I don't ever want to be in competition with that. I just want to remove the barrier for people that are starting out to be able to have, their little shop when they want to have one. Okay, Wendy, I promise I'll shut up so Alpha can do his thing.
Thank you, Izzy. I really do appreciate all the updates. First and foremost, hi everyone. It is happy to finally see everyone again. I know I haven't been here for quite some time, but finally was able to get some time in to see everyone again, give some updates regarding support. Don't actually have much, but what I do have to share I think is, pretty important. And that is, we're officially happy to report that our backlog is completely squashed. We're back to our usual turnaround times. So I know at one point, many of you guys were reaching out and kind of saying, hey, you were used to 1 or 2 day responses and you're waiting upwards to 3 to 4 weeks. It was insanely bothersome, not only to you guys, but to us as well. That was never the support that we ever tried to, give out. And yeah, it's really good to know it's finally coming to a stop. We're going back to our old SLA, so you will now be getting responses regarding in-world issues, password, reset issues, whatever the case may be. You will now be getting a response a lot quicker. Again, that's as long as it, stays with the support team. Once we start to go into our trust and safety team, that is a totally different set of standards. But, nevertheless, it was something I wanted to give you all an update about. And additionally, it's been like this for some time now, but support is now 7 days a week. So please, Saturday, Sunday, if you have something going on, contact us. Do not wait till Monday or Friday, because you don't have to. We will be here to answer your questions, whether that's the Premium Plus line, Concierge line, billing line, or live chats. So Please take advantage of where we're at now. Take advantage of knowing if you have an issue, we will be there to fix it or help resolve it or whatever the case is as soon as we can, while actually being able to hold up to that agreement. And ultimately, I think that's really the only updates support has for now. I know we're working on some really awesome projects in the background that I cannot wait to speak more about. However, it is very, very early, so I can't give too many hints or speak too much on it, but I'm hoping in these upcoming months I'll be able to share some pretty special news that I think everyone's going to be pretty fond to hear. But that's all I have.
Yeah,
Alpha,
Alpha, just say
sorry.
soon.
Soon.
Alpha, is it possible that you could elongate your hours or move them forward a little bit for the people that are in different time zones? Because your customer support call in live chat thing ending at a time that it does is not really conducive with half the world.
I understand what you're saying, and I do feel like I have to kind of approach this the same way anytime something abuse related comes up, or never like something along those lines. I can't say, hey, I can make those changes. While I love that idea, I will gladly take that up the chain and see what options we may have, but I unfortunately just can't make any promises on major changes to hours. I know that in the past, if I'm not mistaken, in the past we definitely had way better hours for everyone, and I would love to see that come back. However, like I said before, I can't make any of those promises. But nevertheless, I'll make sure that this gets heard and this feedback definitely gets spoken about.
Yeah, just 1 hour, take from the start of the day and add to the end of the day would be really helpful. Sometimes it's just a case of missing by 3 minutes, and it seems to be a constant thing because we wake up down here, even if we wake up very early, we've just missed it. Like, it always seems to be the case that we've just missed it, and then we've got to wait till the next day.
100%. Yeah, we're totally on the same page there. I am putting myself in your shoes. That definitely sucks, especially if I'm paying for Premium Plus or something that's supposed to allot me that type of service. So, like I said, I would gladly love to bring this up the chain. I would love to see some changes myself, but I just can't make any promises. But please know this will be spoken about, and I may be able to speak more about it in the next, we'll say, soon.
On the topic of broader support, accessibility, like somebody mentioned, like Nick's mentioned in chat, it would also be nice with more international phone call options. Previously, I used Skype in order to call internationally for free, but with Skype shut down, I don't have that availability anymore, meaning that for me, it's gonna cost me, $5, maybe $10 a minute to call a support line, which is quite expensive.
Is that the real price? Because here I can pay $10 a month for unlimited calls to the US, except I have to pay $10 a month now ongoing because I can't seem to cancel it since my need for support 2 months ago. So you're costing me $120 a year for an issue that I have already dealt with.
I understand. I honestly, it's kind of the same thing as before. I can definitely bring that up the chain, see what options we have. In the sense of options right now, I will say that from my experience, I have had a lot of users state other alternative services. I will have to say, this is very unofficial. By no means am I saying, hey, go and do this, it's okay. Because, how do I say this? Using other third-party services is up to your own discretion. However, Google Voice, supposedly that is an option similar to Skype where you're doing a call over the internet versus a phone service plan. Therefore, international call prices, I believe, is a okay alternative for some. Don't get me wrong. I would love for there to not be an alternative at all, and we offer something. But that's more of just maybe a nice tip or trick for those who would like to dig more into it and know, hey, I ain't got to spending that much money just to have maybe a 5 or 10 minute phone call, even if it's just an hour phone call. It's a lot of money for sure. So I hate that you're having to spend that just to get in contact with us when you could be spending that on almost anything else. So again, I'll take that feedback up the chain as well as I hope some of you guys can take a look into Google Voice or other third-party alternatives that are either less costly or free. I know in chat some were saying it may not be available to all, but I still, if it's only helping some, that's still better than everyone, I guess, being in the same boat. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm going to bring both of these up the chain. I would love to bring back some good words for you all. So I kind of just have to say until then, you're definitely being heard and acknowledged. So thank you for all that feedback for both of you guys.
Thank you too. And as somebody pointed out in chat, with the increased integration with Discord, would it be possible to use that perhaps?
Okay, yeah, I totally see what you're saying, and I guess this is the best way to answer those types of questions, because any new idea is in my mindset, any idea is worth $1 million. It's the same thing as missing 100% of the opportunity. You miss every opportunity you don't take. So I don't see any issues with it, but it does boil down to I'm unfortunately not in the position to make any of those calls, but I think that's an amazing idea. Again, that will be brought up the chain. I'll be going to my direct manager and, letting them know all of these goodies that you guys are sharing with us and see what can come out of it. I would love to see some changes really soon, but I just can't make those promises. But I at least would like to say, anytime I say, it's going to be heard and I'm going to go up the chain about it, I sincerely mean it. So I kind of hope maybe I'll be able to bring back one of these ideas as a hey, check out our new whatever this is, versus I spoke about it and it's still in the talks, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
I'd like to go ahead and move on to a slightly different topic. We did recently update our main viewer. There's a number of new features. Perhaps highest on the list is the addition of inventory favorites, which makes it much easier to find your favorite items at a glance. I've been using that one a lot myself lately. Also, there's ways to mask your Linden dollar balance in screenshots. There's a new way to zoom in on yourself. There's the addition of kind of light and dark mode title bars for those who use Windows 11. A number of other goodies. For all the details, I want to point you to our blog at that URL. Yeah, it's at first it's a bit hard to note, Ash, but once you start to favorite some things, you'll start to see like stars in your inventory that show where they are, and it helps get it more in mind. We've had the same kind of inventory layout for so many years, so spotting that new thing sometimes can take a little bit. But once you get used to it, it's actually very useful. Okay, I'll talk about that in a moment.
I was sort of like down on the whole idea of favorites being in the inventory, because in Firestorm it's a separate icon and you can open it really quickly. But the fact that you can favorites an actual folder, meaning if you have a store and you have your items all in one area and stuff, but you still had to look for it, you can favorite the whole folder and now it's stacked at the top of your favorites. That's a blessing. So yay, that.
Yeah, I use both folders for both folders and individual items in some cases. Makes it real easy to find some of those HUDs that you use with bodies and things, as well as I have a folder with different, Linden bears in it, and it's handy to be able to find that whole folder rather than just one bear. Take care, Alpha.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Great. Alpha's left. We can talk about him. Just kidding.
No.
Just want to mention that we're working on an overall, kind of going up with this whole thing that came out in the new viewer of our marketplace UI. While this is ongoing, we'd love to hear from you via the feedback portal. That's the feedback.secondlife.com. We've updated new responsive product, category, and search result pages, but the Mainland and some others are still in whole or in part under the older style. I also recommend checking out our blog for more on what's working and feedback we're focusing on and what's on the horizon. And let me get you that link here. Right there. So you guys can actually be part and parcel of the solution that we're working on.
I noticed that the other day about the Zoom, I was trying to look at a picture properly and I couldn't get it to go larger, and that's horrible.
Definitely.
Because it's only going as big as what they're allowed to load, and the pictures you're allowed to load into Marketplace are small as is, but that just makes it really difficult to see the fine print that a lot of people, especially with language barriers, don't put into the description of their content.
Right.
They might have it on their ad, but they're not actually filling in the content, so it doesn't show that it might be in tiny, tiny pixels PBR only, or it might be this is a sculpt, not a mesh, etc.
Yeah, I think that might actually be mentioned, or at least some things with images on the page that Izzy linked as a known issue. So.
And a lot of it is we're
yeah.
trying to make sure that we're starting to be able to work cross-platform. So some of those changes are working toward that end, but there's still, perfections that need to come to it. So definitely keep giving that feedback. Same thing, Nix.
We also mentioned in the Content Creators User Group just last week that we would really like the image in inventory feature to include any ratio of the picture, so it doesn't have to be square only. And we think that incorporating the option to have 512 wide by 1024 tall pictures in images helps with when you're making for Marketplace and for in-world and for images in inventory, if everything was just able to be as good in all platforms.
Is that something that's been either added to that or put into feedback?
I'm not sure if somebody did do a canny because it wasn't originally me that asked, but I'd been wanting to, so I'll have a look and see if because we really do need that. I can only do square ads because of images, so
right.
It's other people aren't doing they're not using the image feature at all because they don't want to do square ads, so it's sort of cut off at the feet, straight off the
right.
mark there.
No, I get you, and it's limiting. Bar none, no matter what the specific issue happens to be, not to minimize your specific situation, but in the end, it's still limiting. We want to remove as many limits as we can. Holocock said something. Want to deal with that first before we go forward?
Sounds good.
I'm trying to find it. Too many things went afterward.
There you go. He reposted.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Da-da-da-da. Do you know if that's cross-platform or on the same platform, Holocock? Cross-platform meaning one person's on desktop, one person's on Project Zero, one person's on mobile, because I have seen some reports of that kind of stuff.
I think Sassy might have a clue there as well.
Yeah, it could be viewer too.
Yeah.
But I personally, I don't know about you, Wendy. I don't personally have any inner knowledge for it. However, I do know that there are some quote-unquote task force specifically targeting the veracity of instant messages and improving that and stuff. So it could be that some work is being done that have uncovered some issues or exacerbated some issues while they fix it. I don't know that that's the case, but it's just a possibility. I mean, most of you have been here long enough to know that when we're fixing something, sometimes it can get a little bit worse before it gets better. So that would be my suspicion. But if it's still happening to you and you can, give some specific examples, absolutely submit a support request on that so they can go ahead and do it. If it is a Firestorm issue specifically, I would still look into it because we are working much, much closer with Firestorm than in the past, so we're more able to help in troubleshooting that stuff as well.
With Firestorm, I was just going to say with Firestorm Holoclock, use their beta version. It's not happening in the beta version, it's happening in their full version. And if you insist on using the full version, which I completely understand, you need to block someone and unblock them, and you get everything like a flood. It's ridiculous, and I just felt really uneasy blocking anybody just to get a flood of IMs and notices and stuff through, so I went to the beta.
Gotcha.
I have a way of helping you on that, Sassy. Rather than blocking a person, try resing, just res a prim out or something that happens to be in front of you, an object, and block the object instead.
But I always panic that I'm going to forget to unblock it, and then I'll end up somebody will be muted, or my items will be muted, or something will go horribly wrong there.
Yeah, that's why I suggest, res out a brand new prim, block that prim. You can unblock it afterwards. You can delete it afterwards. It's not going to harm anything because it's just a prim. And as much as we try, prims actually don't have feelings. So
it's the act of blocking and unblocking that is reopening that pipe rather than a specific individual. That's interesting.
It's really crazy. It's like a flood. Like if you think you've just missed, like I'll get an email offline, and then I'll log in and there's no email. There's no IM, and I'll be like, "What is going on?" So I'll hit the unblock a person thing, and I get flooded not just with the IM that's missing, but like every notice that was sent in the last 24 hours will just suddenly come through, and it's just crazy. So.
Sassy, if you don't want to block and unblock a prim, you can feel free to block it, unblock me. I promise I won't take it personally.
No.
Okay.
Just block and unblock my own alt or something. That's probably better.
Or the prim, like you mentioned. Kind of on a similar vein, so it's a perfect segue, Holoclock, we've talked a bit about this before, but WebRTC voice is coming to Second Life. It's a big change that promises to make voice better in a number of ways. Look at the voice issue that we just had a little bit ago, but including high-quality sound with lower latency and better security. Right now, the project's in an initial beta on the main grid, and if you have a private estate and want to test it out, please feel free to visit our support portal, support.secondlife.com, file a support case under land and region, other land issue type, and just let us know that you're seeking to update voice to WebRTC. If you're not an estate owner and just want to try it out, you can go to WebRTC, that's WEBRTC space voice space 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 and give it a try. Do note that not all viewers can handle it at this time, and I am just going to copy one of them here just so that way you know how the region names are spelled. Finally, and certainly most important, if you run into any trouble with it, we want to know, so leave us a note, including your viewer information at feedback.secondlife.com as a viewer bug report. That way they can go ahead and incorporate that information into our incorporation of the WebRTC. I don't think so. Wendi, I know you had something else you wanted to go over.
Why, I do indeed, and I know that at least a couple of folks here are curious about this, so I want to talk Mainland. For one thing, I want to note we've been focusing this month. We're doing kind of a large kind of cleanup and consolidation project with our existing abandoned land holdings across the mainland. I know that some have spotted us out there, some haven't. But we're cleaning up, adjusting some parcel settings, cleaning up terraforming, merging things together as we go. We're getting pretty close to completing this project. We still have a number of regions to get through yet, but it's kind of just making things look a little bit nicer out there. And that said, of course, if you're looking to take over any abandoned land near you, now's a good time to reach out to us. As a general rule, we provide available abandoned land at a rate of 1 linden per square meter. We also do have auctions for some of the pick of parcels that we'll put out there. Those are on places.secondlife.com under auctions. We've got some lovely stuff that's in there right now. There's a couple that I dearly wish I could get, but I'm not going to. We actually can't do auctions ourselves, so all for you guys. I also want to add we're slowly working on some road-related projects. I've brought them up before. We've got a road project that we're working on near the Bob 2 region. We've also got a road/causeway project we're working on near Bay City to connect that up. I should note on both of those, we're waiting on some objects to be worked on and finalized before we can move forward on those. But those are in the works. I'm not going to show them up. Also, which Sarah knows this one, have done a little bit of work on restoring some of the grass areas around the Ahern Welcome area. I'm going to continue some work on that to get that a little bit cleaned up. It's tricky. It's an old area. Also fixed some errant road pieces in the Nova Albion regions the other day. So just a few little projects that are going on out there. And take care, Wolfgang. Yes, Sarah. The Ahern ones. In fact, you were the one that pointed them out. And yes, if you do come across, content of ours that is broken or damaged or missing or, anything like that, please do put that on the feedback portal or send us a support ticket in some cases if it's something that's immediate necessary. And just a quick fix, please. Yeah. Rim drift, that kind of thing. Let us know.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sassy.
Yes, we do, Holocluck. Very much so. That's part of what we're looking at, actually, as we go through some of these now. We'll occasionally find places where there's, small, areas where roads might overlap parcels and things like that. We try to fix those as we go through, with abandoned land if it's something that's necessary.
Actually, speaking of moles and the title of mole, Is there any chance that you guys could come up with a new title for the people that are just contractually brought in for individual projects and then outed again? Because it feels like moles get a bad rap because of people's dislike of something particularly that happened at one point.
It sounds like an easy question.
Give me an example.
Somebody doesn't like a particular thing that you bring out. It could be a style of Linden home. It could be a thing with some limbs and stuff that people don't like talking about and are very negative about. And they bash moles because of it, because those individual contractors got called moles as well. And I don't think that's really fair, because there are fantastic moles that work full time all year and are not those moles.
Well, and not only that, but one particular item shouldn't identify the quality of anybody on that team for making stuff. And like you said, there are moles that haven't made something for LDPW in years.
Correct.
I'm just trying to figure out how to address it.
I just think that anybody that's just brought in for a temporary project should just be like, a hamster's a great one. They're running on that wheel until they're no longer running on the wheel, sort of thing. But I just think that...
No, I'll definitely take that into advisement. Right now, I don't have any temporary people, but if we were to go back to adding in some temporary people, I will definitely consider a non-mole type of a name for it. So, okay.
Yeah, it's just because also I've seen in social media, not recently, but in the past, where somebody has decided to soapbox themselves by saying that they were a mole in the past. Yeah, dude, you might have made a belt buckle. Get over yourself.
Not only that, they're not supposed to say whether they were a mole or not.
I know.
And I will say, Sassy, just one little anecdote to that. I have found very few incidences, at least since I've been dealing with it. So, I mean, they're not saying it can't happen, but there's been very few incidences where a resident account has said that they are a mole, were a mole, or anything like that, where it's actually been true. Unfortunately.
Possibly that too. But yeah, I just feel like that temporary moles shouldn't besmirch the good work of, I'm very pro mole, Viola, Minnie, Mischievous, Abner, they all do incredible work, and it's not really fair to be grouped in with people that just sort of come through.
I completely agree, and I won't say that I am their strongest advocate, but I am definitely up in the top 10, if not top 3. Advocates of theirs, because obviously I work with them daily.
Obviously.
I saw a question come by. Let's see. Holocluck. I do know, Holocluck, that they are looking, the land team and LDPW are both looking at, projects on the mainland and things that can be done and everything. So filing a canny, I can be straightforward with you that it'll get given a response of, hey, nice idea, we'll, not while we don't have the ability to do it right now, we'll keep it in mind. But those, definitely canny, not ticket. They will definitely be stored, and they are things that were more like, hey, what are we going to do between March and June? And we look at those, requests and stuff like that and see if there's something that we can do. So please, if you submit one and you get a response that says, hey, we're going to file it for future possibilities or anything like that, we really do mean it. Just like when you suggest Linden home themes, we have definitely in the past gone and looked at our previously requested Linden home themes that we didn't do for ideas and stuff. So it isn't what most companies do in that, when we don't pick something, it just goes away. We really do go back there to brainstorm. And as somebody who's been here 18 and a half years, I've seen it happen a lot. With
the Linden homes and the new theme, can I us
The current
fans,
Ridgewood Enclave theme or the theme that's coming up?
the current one.
Okay.
Just really curious about how you go about deciding where placement works, because I've heard a few people get that are very upset about the fact that their theme is now looking at that theme, and it breaks the immersion of what they've been living with for the last year or so, and their views are spoiled and all of this stuff, because the new one is sort of like a Wall Street McMansion and the old one was Gilmore Girls, and it sort of isn't kind of, you know.
I definitely understand. I will say that if your current Linden home build abruptly ends, then you're seeing water, but it isn't intended to be water there. So definitely keep that in mind when you pick a location. However, I do have empathy in what you said, in that if for months or years or whatever you've been looking at this beautiful open water and then all of a sudden you're looking at a new theme, it is very, very, very abrupt and everything, and I do apologize for that, so I will keep that in mind. But I know one thing that we've gotten definite complaints about, not the same thing that you're saying, but it's in those vein, the Victorian homes. You know, we haven't had as much interest in the Victorian homes as we thought initially, so we haven't released the entire set of all of it, so people will see these abrupt ends, and then when we fill up on Victorians, we release another region, and then there's more homes in front of you instead of the abrupt open water and stuff. So I definitely get that. Oh, I agree, Sassy. I love the Victorian homes, but for the number of regions we expected to have, vice what were, it didn't perform as much as we thought. Now, part of it is whenever we come up with a new theme, everybody floods the new theme for a little while first. So then it kind of...
Is it that too, or is the fact that when Victorian was released, that was very early on in the Linden Homes pipeline? I mean, realistically, the amount of people that actually use Linden Homes now compared to what they did in the earlies differs.
Definitely true. Every time we release a Linden Home theme, I see a spike in subscriptions.
Right.
Because more people want to check out the new, theme types and stuff. Which is part of the reason why we slowly release the homes, not to pull out more subscriptions, but I don't want 300 people to go from Thousand Island to Ridgewood Enclave and leave Thousand Island a barren oasis kind of a deal. When we do it this way, some people immediately, of course, want to check out the new ones because they play the game of homes. You know, I'm sure that name is not anything new to any of you, but they do. They play the game of homes. But they will, if we do it piece by piece, some people that would have immediately gone and checked it out are like, okay, I checked out the demo region. I saw what it's like. I got, what I wanted from it. And then they, say to where they actually want to be. Hold on, Rita's. Sarah, I definitely get what you mean, and we're building less community regions for Linden Homes because of that exact reason. However, we do occasionally add a community region that fits that particular style. And I don't have an exact example for you because I know what the next community region is going to be, which perfectly would explain why I'm going to do this. Well, okay, actually, I'll give you the shops one. We may put a little Central Park-esque thing in the center of some shops regions because it kind of fits appropriate. As far as Mole Shop, we have definitely heard that, and I intend to either expand upon the existing one or build a new one, because it's definitely something that is been sought after, is useful, would help everybody, and I want to put more things into it. So that's why I'm currently evaluating what it currently is, if it can fit my expansion needs, or if we need to redo it. But if we redo it, I probably won't get rid of the old one because it has some historical value and stuff. I'd probably just make another that can be bigger and better. So think of the old one as a Walmart, and now we're going to put in a super Walmart kind of a deal.
Yeah, I know there's stuff that's in there right now that we've absolutely got to keep available. I mean,
Absolutely.
The rail stuff especially is a big deal. Oh, no.
No, the most that I would have done was redid it to be able to accommodate more and stuff like that. But my personal preference, and it sounds like your guys' agreement, that if we added a new one somewhere else but kept the old one, that's probably the best way to go.
Well, Cluck, if there's items that aren't responding, aren't able to be purchased, that kind of thing, go ahead and put in a ticket on that, actually. So that's broken stuff. Yep.
I want to see a houseboat up on a hoist.
Nice. I like that.
I know there's a couple of places out there where you might find some regular houses underwater, too.
Or upside down.
Or upside down.
One other thing,
like that'd be cool.
One other thing I wanted to mention. Oh God, it went right out of my head. Do you see what happens to me? I'm too old. Oh, yes, now I remember it. Just took a minute. I had to kick myself. I have been asked several times before, and I just want to reiterate, nobody's asked this time, but I just want to put it out there. We are still planning on memorializing the legacy Linden home themes around Cape Eckham and everything like that. It's just there's been a lot going on that we haven't had time to actually release it. But just because it isn't released yet doesn't mean that we've forgotten it. It is still definitely coming up. They already are working on the ones that they're putting there, Professor, so sorry about that. But they do have, it's going to be one from each theme will be going around Cape Eckham.
Oh my goodness, it'd be so cool if you could make them look sort of like disheveled, or like a missing side wall panel where you can see into it, and then you could have like imaginary homeowners association clutching their pearls in the front drive.
Should I put boarded up windows?
Yeah.
Question for you guys.
Make one half tinted, like for fumigation and stuff.
Did you guys, any of you guys get to check out our April Fool's joke this year?
Wasn't that the upside down houses?
Upside down houses, the oil rigs that were off the coast of the regions, the Clippy, which was a Primmy, and the gargoyle that would snark at you.
Oh! In the houseboat area, can you put like a tugboat, like a flat thing, and we can have raves on it and all return to the 90s?
That could be a fun idea.
That would be awesome.
I will tell you, Pantera, something on that I absolutely fought for. Now, when I first was talking to people about it, I was told apartment buildings absolutely were not possible. And in one way, that's true. You can't have different ownership up a z-axis. Right now, Second Life just doesn't do it, okay? So we don't currently have the ability for vertical parcels. I don't know, Nix, if that's ever going to not be a thing, so we'll see. However, one of the suggestions that I've made, it is currently not in planning, so keep that in mind. But I have looked into the possibility of having Linden Home brownstones.
Which I would +1 that completely, Izzy. Sign me up.
Sarah K. Brownstone is a multi-bedroom vertical building, very a la New York or Washington, D.C., except
Or
Washington,
Boston.
D.C. is more, yeah, or Boston, very whitewashed typically in Washington, D.C. Think also kind of like the row homes in certain areas where it's very thin apartments, but they've got like 2 to 5 floors to them.
It's also the ones that they use where you can actually go below street level. Like there's
Yes.
sometimes an apartment underneath the street or something, or somebody's dead in the pathway or something in a crime show.
Sassy, you will get me completely in a minute. I was out in New York City for New York City Anime last month, and as I was walking to my hotel from the Javits Center, I saw just such a building, and the down the stairs below street level was a tattoo shop, and I was like, it's the perfect place for a tattoo shop. So yeah, actually another one. If any of you guys remember Will and Grace, Will and Grace's law firm place was in one of those down below.
Or if you're an old like me, Laverne and Shirley's apartment was in a.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, what Wendy said, Lou is still in beta, so there's nothing but testing and stuff going on with it at the moment. However, I
That is
will
such
say
a cool theme idea.
our scripters are currently dealing with Lua and stuff, so that way once it is released, we can start dealing with it.
Realistically, what you could do, sorry, just to throw it out there, but you could make that half a brownstone and half a brownstone on either side were just mock and then joined up with the next one on the next parcel, so that everybody's got sort of a house between each one that they inhabit, if that makes sense. And then that way you can have them connected, but nobody's actually right on anybody's land.
Right, what we tend to do is make the brownstones the size of a 1024, but further back rather than wide, and we don't have to have the entire building further back because usually there's a garden area at the back of the brownstone. But then we put like a 16-meter, well, a 4-meter wide, but 16K parcel boundary in between each brownstone, but you can't actually see that from the outside. It's, the prims go across so that way all the brownstones look like they're side by side by side. And the reason why you have to do that is somebody put something up on their wall, you don't want it peeping through into the other person's place.
That's awesome. I'd love to see semi-detached houses too. I don't know if that's a thing in America, but in Australia we have it where it looks like one big house, but it's 2 side entrances, so you share a middle wall, and then so
a duplex that's side by side rather than top and bottom.
Right. Yeah, I guess. Sure. We just call it semi-detached. I don't know.
It's very similar to a brownstone, except for brownstones are usually 5 to 10 side by side by side.
That is so exciting, but I'd love to also see the idea of, at Motown, how you've got that awesome big factory warehouse built that turned into a cafe. Like, it'd be really cool if you did something like that and you parceled them, so they still have the lower and first floor as part of their tier, but people could use it for open studios or open offices and things like that, and choose to have that as their tier usage. I think that community idea would be amazing.
I like that idea. And for Sarah, your question, there are certain requests that need to be approved and put in place before we can do that, but there has been some traction on getting stuff like that done. So if that follows through, who knows what that possibility might open up for us. So you mean, Melissa, have an ability for Linden Home users that are premium to be able to use the Premium Plus ability, but at a one-time fee kind of a thing. Interesting idea. I don't have a problem with mentioning that. Wendi will happily take your Linden dollars, right, Wendi?
Hey now.
Oh, wow. Can you believe that last time we were looking things? Oh, we're at time.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to head out of here as well. Irish Canine, I did answer that earlier. I'm not sure if you saw that in text as well. That and the Bob 2 road are in process. There are things that are going on outside of Resident View at this point. Pieces being built, this kind of thing. But that is coming along. It's just going to take a while.
And
Just a
Sarah
quick
Kay.
question. Sorry.
Well, sorry, I'll take that question in just a second. Sarah Kay, for Lights of Hope this year, I tried desperately to get my team to let us do a, kind of haunted winter theme kind of a thing, and I got outvoted, but I feel you.
Yeah, I still need to work on getting my team's theme together, Izzy. I want to do a Sinsmas one, but I don't think I'll be able to get that one.
Sassy, I think you were the one that said you had one more question.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I completely understand what Melissa is going through, because we ended up having to double dip and going to Premium Lifetime Plus because we were stuck with Premium Lifetime. So I agree with for Lifetime people, they should be able to do something like that. But I just wanted to get it on Pantera's feed. If somebody did pay Premium Lifetime, not Lifetime, if they paid for Premium Plus for just 1 month, would they get the option to choose their house and then drop it back down to Premium? Would they keep that? If they weren't getting 2048, if they were just getting a 1024,
yes,
would they be able to keep that and
There you
just
go.
pay the one-time fee and get the perks for a month?
Yep.
So it's a yes? Awesome. Yep. And is that the same with names, while I'm throwing it out there? If they upgraded for 1 month, paid only $15 for the name, and then dropped back down again, that holds too? Okay.
Because your name is your name.
Pantera, we've got that on the record.
All right. Have an amazing, amazing day, everybody.
Yep. Take care, all. Really great meeting. Great to see you all.
Pantera's going to say that she stopped recording 4 minutes ago now.